Hello, viewers, and welcome to the second episode of IET India's Walk the Tech Talk series, Season 2, in association with India Automated. Season 1 of Walk the Tech Talk series saw Mr. Pranjal Sharma, author of India Automated, get into some very interesting conversations with multiple technology leaders across industries. I would encourage you to check those episodes out on IET India's YouTube channel. This season, we have Pranjal Sharma once again hosting a series of episodes with some special guests that IET India has identified to give you an insight into the world of future technologies, mobility, and work. In today's episode, we will have Pranjal Sharma in conversation with Mr. Anand Handa, who is the member of the IET Cybersecurity Working Group. The episode will talk about the challenges that parents are currently facing while working from home from a cybersecurity standpoint for their children. IET India's Cybersecurity Working Group, which is focused towards creating awareness among user communities, disseminating best practices, had recently released an advisory on safeguarding children from cyber threats. You can give it a read using the link that you can find in the comment section below. Before we move into today's session, I would like you to take a look at what the world of IET India has to offer and urge you to join us as a member. You can become a part of the IET's membership base by just dropping in an email to us at indiamembership@theiet.in. So now, without further ado, I would now like to call on our speakers for today. Hi, Pranjal. Hi, Anand. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode today.
Hi, Ujjani, and hello, Anand. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So it's been a little over 2 months that we all have been, most of us have been working from home. And of course, it's brought in a lot of challenges at various levels for everybody. One of the challenges that we are excited to discuss about, as I mentioned, is about parents facing it in terms of an increase in the screen time of children and what is the risk of them being exposed to online predators and hackers. So we're looking forward to a very interesting session with both of y'all. I will just be away and leave it to you two.
Thank you. Hi, Anand. It's a very, very interesting time that we are in. Of course, it is a time of great change. It's going to trigger behavior, but some of the numbers, if we look at right now, it's amazing, and that's why I think this conversation is important. The latest numbers from IAMI show that 500 million internet users in India, and one estimate is that more than 14% are people who are the age group of 5 to 11 years. So they're basically kids. They're not even teenagers. They're preteens, and all of them are online. So that's a tremendous number of kids, and many of them are not in urban areas. They're probably in areas where the parents are not aware about the pitfalls of being online. So I think the discovery and the discussion with you is really about what is the awareness, what are the regulations, and what is the effectiveness of implementation of these. So Anand, if you can begin by giving us a sense of where we are in terms of the awareness of the risks of children being online.
Yeah. So hello. So as you were talking about some of the statistics, so we will go into that. And since due to this COVID pandemic and the situations which are ongoing, schools and colleges are already non-operational across India. And although there is no immediate disruption to education and teaching, learning has almost entirely moved from physical classrooms to the online classes. And if we talk specifically about the lockdown period in India, India's internet consumption rose by near about 13% since the nationwide lockdown was put into place to check the spread of COVID-19. And according to the Telecom Ministry report, it shows that Indians consumed near about 308 petabytes of data daily on an average for the week beginning from March 22nd. And the change reflected how people consumed more streaming content and logged on to work from home, which was also captured in how data demand from residences rose as compared to those commercial areas, which basically includes the children at home as well. And this explosion in the use of internet and mobile access in the country means that a significant proportion of these children are now active internet users, and which is a major concern nowadays. So, if we talk more about the recent threats that are basically being encountered from the executives to the employees to the children, all those using home networks are potential targets of the cyber attackers. And one of them is the socially engineered attacks, which always preys on the unpatched vulnerabilities. It is a constant attack that goes round the clock. Children are the soft targets, as cyber criminals are expert in the art of masquerading, influencing, and devising methods to trick these children. A moment of lapse, and the children accidentally end up giving the attackers easy access to his home networks and the facilities. And also, these days, we are looking on to some of the malware advertisers which have stepped up their efforts to exploit potential victims during the ongoing COVID 19 pandemic. So, these are
So,
some
Anand,
of the
I can interrupt you here. So, what is your advice to parents at this stage? What should parents do to ensure that Sometimes I think many parents are themselves not aware about the risks, or even if they're aware, they don't really know how to counter it because they cannot be sitting with kids all the time when they are on screen. They might be doing work or being spending some time on games or leisure activities. What is the
exactly.
advice that experts like you give to parents?
So, firstly, actually, there must be some of the kind of you there should be the awareness kind of programs that basically parents should give to their children, and basically make kids aware about these cybersecurity threats. The essential factor in protecting children from cybersecurity threats is to communicate openly. Parents should treat this cybersecurity as a subject of technology. A common mistake is that the parents approach online safety habits as a matter of values and behavior, but in reality, children should be taught safe browsing behaviors as a skill from a very young age. As we are practicing social distancing these days, they must be taught about the cyber distancing as well. So, children should be made aware about social media deception tricks, including the ones where adversaries devise fraudulent profiles to befriend children, pretending to be their friend or known buddy. And what they can do, they can use some of the parental control applications, which basically ensure kids spend their extra time on the internet in a safe manner. Parents can use freely available control applications, but these applications help in monitoring and protecting their children online. It is seen that this approach basically works better with younger kids than the teenagers, as teenagers quickly uncover ways to bypass such controls and access. So,
Right.
therefore, having open conversations with the children will be a better thing to do.
So, is there any information or studies on what has been the damage caused by such online activity? Of course, one is children themselves are prey for these, and second is that many organizations whose professionals are working from home, their kids are using perhaps the same devices, so it's also putting the enterprises at risk. Now, I think that's. Is there any estimate so far of what kind of attacks, or has there been an increase in the number of attacks?
Yeah, obviously, the mostly what we are seeing these days, as I've told you about, that there are some of the attacks to the malicious domains. There are considerable number of registered domains on the internet that contains the terms like, if you have seen coronavirus, there will be another corona hyphen virus. So while some are the legitimate websites, cyber criminals are creating thousands of new sites every day to carry out spam campaigns, phishing, or to spread malware. There are cyber criminals which are taking advantage of this widespread global communications on the coronavirus to mask their activities. They are using malware, spyware, and trojans, which have been found embedded in interactive coronavirus maps and the websites. There are also attacks related to the ransomware, if you have heard about, like hospitals, medical centers, and the public institutions are being targeted
Right.
by cyber
So, what are
criminals
the,
for
give
all.
us a sense, Anand, what are the, the regulations and the laws around it? And has there been any action? Do you think the laws need to be strengthened, or it just is an issue of implementation right now?
Yeah, Pranjal, actually, we are in the, if we are talking about the child security on online platforms, the policy and the legal framework for cybersecurity in India is evolving, and it can be used effectively if even with its limitation to build a comprehensive strategy. And if I talk about the various existing policies and laws, there are few like the Information Technology Act 2000 that addresses several aspects related to cyberspace. There is National Cybersecurity Policy 2013 that enabled the development of a dynamic legal framework. There is another national policy for children, specifically NPC 2013, which talks about more explicitly regulating ICT to protect children from potential risk. So obviously there are some of the limitations with these
Right.
policies. Yeah, like these are basically undermined by the lack of clear definition. There are gray areas originating from cultural perceptions of what is right and wrong, what is acceptable and unacceptable, what is decent and indecent. So obviously there are some of the limitations with these policies. So we have to strengthen them, and which the major stakeholders can basically do.
Right. So I think these points are important, Anand, and I think all parents and professionals will have to pay extra attention to this because the work from home atmosphere is going to continue for a while, even if the lockdown is lifted. I think the fact is that children, irrespective of whether there's lockdown or there's work from home, will be on connected devices. So I guess there has to be far more awareness and some level of monitoring and oversight by the adults in the atmosphere in the residences wherever kids are. And as you said, educating these kids is absolutely a primary need both at home as well as at school. So thank you so much, Anand, for joining us and sharing these thoughts with us.
Thank you.